As army operations continue in Jammu and Kashmir, Headlines today has got its hands on some very dramatic cross-river rescue footage mounted by army officials in Jammu and Kashmir. I'm going to hand you over now to Gaurav Sawant to take you through these astonishing images. Gaurav.
Shiv, the army is engaged in rescue and relief operations in Jammu and Kashmir. The Jhelum river is in spate, and as you can see, there are several rivulets that have come in this area. Now, this is a visual outside Srinagar. The army is setting up ropeways to rescue people. The army leading by example, teaching people how they need to cross the bridge as the river is in spate. If they fall, they could die. But the army men, they're risking their lives. What they're doing is they're tying these civilians, taking them to safety from one side to the other. And there's a huge queue, as you can see here. That's an army truck. It's a mine-protected vehicle that has been taken right to the edge of the river. Now, these Jawans are using this rope to get people from one side to the other. Several dramatic visuals like this across North Kashmir, across South Kashmir at this point of time, which is completely cut off from the road route. There's only the helicopter route, but you can rescue only a few people by helicopter. Through this means they're rescuing many, many more.
And Gaurav, while we stay with these images right now, you've just returned after spending the last few days in Jammu and Kashmir. You had access to some of these areas. While talking about these images, just tell us how difficult the situation is. We can see in these pictures the massive swell, the raging rapids that are going, that are progressing through these areas. How difficult is it, for such a rope, this kind of an operation?
Extremely difficult, extremely difficult, because the rope is tied to trees on two sides of this river in spate. That's point one. Point two, the tree could snap. Anybody who's inside the river would just be swept away. You're looking at the speed at which the water is gushing here. The river is in spate. Point one. Point two, Shiv, now these are areas that are relatively unknown for a large number of troops who've been moved into this area to provide relief and rescue operations. The problem is the state administration is missing. They should be guiding the army, the Air Force and the NDRF to places where people are trapped. But the state administration, the officials, extremely tied up looking after their own homes and families, unable to guide the army, and the army is leading a pioneer movement here.
Well, really breathtaking video. I mean, heart-stopping video of people just grappling over those raging rivers. One small mistake, they drop into that swell and it could be certain death. Gaurav, thanks for getting us that perspective on that video that we've just got in. Remember, those rescue operations identical to that are still happening in several parts of Jammu and Kashmir. Gaurav has just gotten back and you've seen his ground reports from several parts of the state where rescue and relief operations continue in full.